Well, hello boys and girls, it's when I feel like it o'clock, and it just so happens to be when I feel like it. I've been talking the last couple days about doing a post on some players that teams could pick off the bottom of the barrel list, I suppose you could, in the cheapie barrel. Either way, I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom from the bathroom. And before you send any letters, the reason why is I'm going to go a little further here. I was an addict up until about 8 months ago, had to move into a place to get back on my feet again, living with a bunch of people, too private, not much privacy going on, so I used the bathroom to bring you these fine pearls because I care. That's why. No, I love doing this. So why would you stop doing what you love just because a few things have happened or you did shit to yourself or what have you, right? Right. So hit the subscribe and the bell and we'll get out of this place. We'll get into a bigger place. And then eventually we'll get even into a bigger place and we'll get planes and we'll get Hummers and we'll get, the vehicle. You know what I mean. And all of those things, and I'll come see you and we'll frolic together and it'll be wonderful. We'll just spread pearls all over your city and you can save the world even, probably. So it's up to you. Hit the subscribe or not. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was some players that a team could pick up. Specifically, I'm talking about my Oilers, who, by the way, I'm terrible at picking my picks with. If this is the first time watching, I don't know why it would be. I don't know what hole you've been in, but I do picks every day and I'm quite accurate at them. You might want to check them out after you watch this video. Watch this video first. Just wait. Okay. I went around the league and looked at some players that could be had. One of them was Buffalo's VC. They picked him up from the Rangers. He's been sitting on the sidelines quite a bit. They haven't been playing him. Now, I don't know what happened with this VC kid. He was projected to be a good, solid third liner. Something doesn't seem to be working for him, no. And in Buffalo there, where they're trying to win right away, I don't think they have all that much patience. He could probably be picked up for not much at all. In the Oilers' sense, though, they have no cap space whatsoever. And if your team doesn't have cap space, this could be an issue as well. If your team does have cap space and is somewhere in the position where they're going to be able to get some somewhere this year, maybe you want to pick up some guys for their bottom six, this is going to be interesting for you as well. But, okay. I'm going specifically Oilers here. They have Gagner making $3 million. Now, Gagner doesn't have any value. However, a team like Buffalo probably wouldn't take Gagner. VC's contract is not making huge. We could probably find a way to get him under the cap by sending people down, putting people on IR, putting people on waivers, what have you. So a lot of things you could probably do to get him in there. Not my favorite guy, though. Not my favorite one to pick. I like going over to Ottawa, where they have Chris Tierney, Nemeshnikov, and Pajot. Nemeshnikov they just picked up from the Rangers, basically for not very much. Makes about 3 point some. Tierney makes about 3, and Pajot, they all make about 3. You could trade a guy like Gagner and up your draft pick to a second-round pick this year, in a deep draft, by the way, and probably get either one of these guys or maybe even both. Nemeshnikov and Tierney for, say, a second, fourth, and Gagner. I'm not giving up my first for this. That would probably give you a fairly decent second and third line, some fairly decent second and third line scoring. Pajot would be fantastic. He would probably cost a full second, and just on his own, maybe you might be able to get him for a third. That would be wonderful. Problem is you still got the $3 million. You got to get rid of Gagné somehow. And putting him down in the minors doesn't do enough. So my thinking is you're looking at Gagné and a second, maybe a fourth, and picking up Tierney and Nemeshnikov. And that would probably be enough to give us enough depth, give the Oilers enough depth to get to the playoffs. If this is another team that isn't having cap problems, these guys can be had for thirds, fourths, fifths picks. There's another guy, Minnesota, Eric Staal. If you're really going to go for it, if you're going to do something this year, if that's the plan, and that's the other thing for the Oilers, is it the plan this year to even bother going for it? If you get these players, can the Oilers be considered Stanley Cup contenders? I say no. This is not necessarily what I would do. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm not saying, I'm just saying it's a possibility to do if you really want to get into the playoffs this year. It's possible that they may want to keep on showing McDavid that they're in it to win it. And that would be a reason to do something like this. I've heard people say maybe trade Hopkins because you probably can't afford him. I think it's possible we will be able to afford him by the time Nugent Hopkins comes up. He's looking at about $7.5, $8 million. That's a couple of years down the road. We could probably free up enough cap space by then to be able to fit him in. If not, I looked at trading him now, and you're not going to get much. I think the best I could find for is like Daniel, Laukkanen, and Montreal's first, and I'm not even sure they would give up that. If they would give up that might be the best, because the 2020 draft is a very deep draft. People are loath to give up first, but for Hopkins, they just might be able to do. You might be able to get something for him. Maybe Suzuki, something like that. Maybe not a bad idea if you're not looking to win this year, but McDavid himself has said he's given the Oilers 2 years. I don't know what that means. Is he going to just say, okay, I don't want to be here anymore? Can he do that? I suppose he can, if he pushes it hard enough. And if that is the case, we are going to want Hopkins. If we are going to trade Hopkins, we're going to have to get some damn good return. And I don't see a damn good return out there right now. So these would be my options. Anyways, back to Staal. Staal has 2 more years at $3 million. And like I said, we can get rid of Gagné this year in the deal. Unfortunately, I think if we make that deal, it might have to cost us a first. Because there's just going to be so many teams out there that are looking for that offensive depth going into the playoffs. And that's a little steep for me. If you can get him for a second and Gagné off the books for this year and try to work out some room for next year, maybe not too bad. Because we can work on getting some wingers next year to play with them. And now you're talking about a lineup that just might be able to win next year. My favorite pick of this is the Staal pick. He's 35. He's playing at a 50-point pace. Doesn't seem to be slowing down all that much. He's in really good shape. If it's me, if I'm the Oilers, I'm taking that. Now, if it's your team, you can put Staal there if you want as well. Whatever your team is that you need offense or whatever the case may be. I'm sure there's a lot of teams out there that will be looking at him, like Dallas, Montreal, I just mentioned. I mean, if they're going for it. Yeah. So anyways, that was asked. Oh, by the way, I should say, Larry Cronwell from here in Edmonton is the one that wrote and asked me this question. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to answer it because I love you guys. I really do. I really, really do. That's my full 42%, boys and girls. Have a great day and lots of love to you.